Hello. We are actually going to be doing problem number 2 on page 263 or 563 of your Geometry Part 2 textbook. This is in lesson 9.3 about rotations. However, this particular page right here is extremely important to being able to do rotations because somebody has taken the time to do a lot of this work, and so now they're showing you the shortcuts. If you're going to rotate something 90 degrees, again, we always talk about counterclockwise, but if you're going to rotate something 90 degrees, what if your original value was x comma y, which is your x coordinate and your y coordinate, once it's rotated 90 degrees, what's going to happen is your x and your y are going to switch, and then your y value is going to become negative. Okay, and that always happens when you're doing a 90-degree rotation. The x and the y value will switch, and then you're going to make that y value opposite of what it was. Okay, when something's 180 degrees, notice that the original xy stays xy, but both of them become negative. And you can see here, if you went from 2, 3, and rotated it 180 degrees, you would be at -2, -3. Same way here, the original point was 2, 3. If it's going to be rotated 90 degrees, which you can follow right there, the new answer is -3, 2. The 2 and the 3 switched, and then the y value, which is now first, became negative. So that's where we get that. If you're rotating something 270 degrees, you switch your x and your y, except this time the x becomes negative. When it's 90 degrees, the y becomes negative, but when it's 270, the x becomes negative. And notice, this is 270 degrees, or 2/3 of the way around the quarters of the graph here. If you had 2, 3, and you rotated that 270 degrees, you're going to end up at 3, -2. Again, notice the x and the y switched, and then the x value, which is now in the y position, became negative. And when something is rotated 360 degrees, it literally goes all the way around and right back to where it was. So that would rotate all the way around and come right back to where it was. So again, use this chart, memorize this chart, whatever would be most beneficial to you, because it will come in handy. All right, so let's look at problem number 2 here. If you're drawing rotations in a coordinate plane, first of all, we've got a quadrilateral here. PQRS has vertices of 1, 1, 3, 3, 4, 1, and S is 3, 0. And you can see that's these 4 points right here. Okay? Now, what is the graph if it were rotated 90 degrees, which is going, I can't say things correctly today. If you were to take the original PQRS, which is this original one, and you were to rotate it 90 degrees, that's what this is really trying to say here, then what you're going to do is you're going to take just, you're taking each one of the points, just like we did on the previous page. And remember, when you rotate something 90 degrees, you switch the x and the y, but then you make the y value negative. So the rotation of 1, 1, 90 degrees becomes -1, 1. The rotation of 3, 3 becomes -3, 3. This one, 4, 1, becomes -1, 4. And 3, 0 is going to become 0, 3. And so when I regraph these points right here together, and I reconnect those, this is the same shape. It's just been rotated 90 degrees about the origin. Okay? The same could be said if you were going to rotate something this FGHI, which is this one right here. If you were to rotate that 270 degrees, remember you're going to take each point here and you're going to match it up to its, you're going to switch the x and the y, except this time you're going to make the y value opposite. And so this one would become negative 1, 3. This one would become negative 1, positive 1. And this one would become 1, and then the opposite of 0 is still just 0, because that's what the previous page said to do. And then again, if you were to regraph these on the graph itself, it would show you what this image would look like if it were rotated 270 degrees around the origin. Okay? Good luck on those. And again, knowing that previous page on page 562, that will be very helpful in solving the problems in this particular lesson.